Welcome to the Real Estate Fight Club.
Welcome to another episode of Real Estate Fight Club. My friend Jennifer Mertland is in the house. What's up?
Monica, I bought another house.
You did? I love it.
Yeah, no buyer's remorse. I know we talked about buyer's remorse last week.
That's right. That's cool. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's no HOA. Whoop, whoop. So I can do whatever I want.
Wait, you're not in the city?
I'm in the city with no HOA.
Whoa.
And I have a 2-car garage, baby.
What?
Look, kids.
Are you going to Airbnb it?
Of course. I mean,
Man.
I can't buy a house and like live there the whole time.
You could, like a normal human.
That's insanity to me. Not happening.
Yeah, no,
I got to make money.
All right, guys. Today, Jen and I are going to duke it out over this question. Should the buyer's agent present the offer directly to the sellers? What? That sounds like a freaking disaster zone.
It
But let me
sounds
repeat
amazing.
it. Should the buyer's agent present offers to the seller directly? Oh, you say it sounds amazing? Bring us your wisdom on that debacle.
Here's what I'm thinking. If we were to do this, I think I would represent more buyers.
Oh, okay.
Because I think a lot of agents haven't read the contract. If you are listening and you have not read the contract, please message me and let me know. Sometimes you put things in there that could be deal breakers or winners could be deal winners for the seller, and it's not being presented properly. And I think it also depends on who the listing agent is. If it's a listing agent that doesn't do a lot of business, then I would much rather present it, Tell me what you think and let's try to hash it out.
Look, I think your job as a buyer's agent is to have those questions answered up front. I should know really clearly all the things I want to know about the sellers and what's important to them. And I should ask.
Have you ever had a client before, Monica?
Yes.
Yeah. They change their mind all the time. So while I agree with you, and as a great listing agent, you're asking those questions and you're sharing the relevant stuff that you're allowed to with the buyer's agent.
Yeah.
When you're in front as the buyer agent, if you're in front of the seller, they could say something totally crazy that you as their great listing agent never heard them say. Or the opposite of what they told you when you asked the exact same question.
Is there a mute button on this thing?
I'm fired up today.
I know, and I'm muting you. Mutiny. Okay. Listen, you think this is a great idea because you know your level of skill and that it would make a difference if you could sit in front of those sellers and present this.
Correct.
You, however,
isn't this podcast about us?
In
our opinion.
I want you to think of the disadvantage a buyer would have if their agent wasn't great in front of the seller or didn't know how to present themselves.
I think that the buyers would be a little bit more careful about who they hired. And so would the sellers.
But the buyers shouldn't pay for the buyer's agent's inability to have a discussion in front of the sellers. They're just, they should be able to convey the buyer's needs through the contract. That's what it's for the buyer's offer through the contract.
Okay. Fine. But I like the idea of having the option of presenting.
You probably do, but I don't know that all agents would want that same opportunity. Hey, do you know what? I believe that Ryan Bowman.
Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. I believe he sends a video with his offers.
Yes, Ryan.
I think he does. And I'm not sure if that agent then sends that along to the sellers.
This is so good. Okay, I think we're coming to a consensus.
I think we could do that. Yeah.
Okay, so if we can agree that the buyer agent presents the offer to the listing agent, would you, the listener, would you make a video? You detail the bullet points like a cover sheet. A lot of agents do like a cover sheet.
Yeah.
With the bullet points, right? Yeah. But this also requires, to your point originally, which is you have to ask the questions up front. Like, what is the seller looking for? What do they want in an offer? Like, what's going to get this? Yeah. Can you help me out?
What would be cool too is that in the beginning you would say, in speaking with your agent, I understand that timing is the most important thing for you.
So good.
So that way, if that's not true, that seller's like, the fuck, money's the most important thing to me. Like, why'd you say that?
You don't want to throw them under the bus. No, you want to make the listing agent like a hero, like they did a great job.
Real, though. You want to know what's like, if that's not the case, then and if I have misunderstood, let me know and we can work with your.
I don't like it. It feels like you're throwing the listing agent under the bus.
They're
not going to like that. And they're not going to forward that video.
That's true. That's true.
But if you make them the hero, I like the idea of mentioning the listing agent and making them the hero and then being like, this is what we understood to be kind of like your biggest must-haves. And these buyers are so excited. Your house is everything that they wanted. And especially if if you've asked questions, the listing agent probably told you some things about the seller. And not like you have to bring them up, but I think as a sales skill / technique, you make the buyer, you find similarities in the buyer and make it like that buyer is like this. And then the sellers are like, oh, I'm like that too. Do you see what I'm saying?
I relate to them. Yeah.
Yes.
You relate them subtly or something.
Subtle, very subtle.
Very subtle. All right. I think that's going to have to be the end of today.
I think so. And our guest after this, she has a very good example of this. Yes. It's not always done in her market. So she'll tell us what happened.
Can't wait. Tune in. Stay tuned.
All right. I am here with our tiebreaker, Robin Katz from One Sotheby's in Miami. Hello, Robin.
Hello, Jennifer. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you could be on because you focus a lot on the luxury market. So I thought you would have some good tips. So your tiebreaker question is should the buyer agent be able to present their buyer's offer like directly to the seller and not like without the listing agent, but kind of like an attorney in court or something like that?
In my experience, yes.
Okay.
I think that they should.
Tell me.
And I've had experience with this. And honestly, it was right in the beginning, like 20 something years ago when I first started in real estate. And I was working at this great company, like the best company in the neighborhood in the area. And we were actually the affiliate for Sotheby's in Southeast Florida. And there was an agent there. There was a team and they were really great. They weren't like the top of the top, but they are now.
Okay.
And so I had some clients who were neighbors and they fell in love with this house. And there was a lot of activity, a lot of demand for it. Okay. And so I requested that we be able to present to the buyers. So I had never done this before. And I had heard about this from a real estate coach and the listing agent had never done it before, but she agreed. And
at the time when you said, okay, we want to present the buyer's offer directly to the sellers, what were you thinking or what did your coach tell you? What was your perspective of why that was important?
Well, now people talk about writing letters, but back then it was, we were barely using, it was still DOS then, I think, on computers. It was a long time ago. And so we weren't doing things like writing letters and everything was much more in person.
Right.
So it wasn't unusual for, me to meet the sellers.
So what happened?
So what happened was, it was awesome. I'll never forget. We were in their house and we're sitting at this big dining room table and we're all kind of a little surprised because no one's done this before.
Yeah.
And I presented and, we did some negotiations, but I presented and it worked. My buyers got the house and I thought, well, this is fantastic. This really does work.
Well, thank you, Robin.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And, I wish that you all the best with your podcast. It's a lot of fun and I think you make a big difference.
Thank you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.